Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope your Wednesday is as fantastic as mine. My name is Carmen. I am a myofunctional therapist. I also, in this season of my business, call myself a myofunctional educator extraordinaire because I am spending so much time training. I teach and I train in my community, in my Facebook support group. I also teach other dental hygienists to become myofunctional therapists. I teach dentists how to implement myofunctional screening into their practice. And also, this is the season for speaking engagement. So spring and summer, I'm really busy. Hygiene schools, mentoring new hygienists, that kind of stuff in this field. So while I think I'm really great at being a myofunctional therapist, I really love the opportunity to be an educator. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about time commitment. We all wish we had more time. And a common question that I get from clients is, am I going to be a slave to my myofunctional therapy? Because a lot of people really struggle making that commitment because they think it's another thing that they're just piling on top of life. Gym, work, kids, that kind of stuff. So it's a common question. So my new blog came out and it talks about that time commitment. And as usual, here today, I'm going to just dive into that a little bit more. Also, I'm going to talk about practice expectations when somebody does therapy with me. So what that looks like. So let me just review a couple things, excuse me, that were in the blog that came out this week. So I talked about exercises versus awareness versus stretches. Many of you think or have been led to think that it's all the same. So exercises is something that you will actively do. It's what I actively teach. And stretches really are something that should come from your doctor. But a lot of exercises that I do teach are stretching. So obviously if you have a frenectomy and the tongue is, going back, really working in the roof of the mouth, that's going to be stretching also. Awareness is another big thing because I can teach exercises till the cows come home. And if the lights are on and nobody's home, you're not going to have any success because you're not aware of what you're doing. And if you've ever created new habits, you know that this can be very difficult. So that's where that awareness part comes in. I always say it's half and half. Half, 50% exercises, 50% is all about awareness. And I teach active and passive exercises. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. Okay, so let's talk about what that time commitment looks like. So in the big picture, frankly, if you have time to surf Instagram, Facebook, if you're spending a ton of time on social media, answering emails, if you're a Pinterest person, that kind of stuff, you have time for myofunctional therapy. Bottom line, you can find those minutes. Now, when I teach my clients and we talk about frequency, this is going to vary, but the frequency of doing exercises is, 2-3 times a day, maybe 4 times a day right after a frenectomy. And an exercise like that is going to be something that you can do in the car really fast on a bathroom break, that kind of stuff. So if it is a 4 time a day, which rarely happens, it's going to just be something super duper simple. So generally you're talking 1-2 times a day. That's it. So that's very doable. Now, this depends on the needs of my clients. And so what that means is that if you're somebody who's lucky enough to get, be put into my snoring sleep apnea program, and those people have more concerns and bigger concerns, the therapy is going to be spaced out a little bit. So that frequency might be a little bit different. And when I say frequency, there's a couple different frequencies to think about. Frequency every day, and then how often we meet. So I touched on frequency every day, but as far as how often we meet is going to depend on what program you're in with me and if you're in one of those harder programs. So if I'm working with somebody who's just a real super duper easy peasy case, I will see them on a different interval or frequency than somebody who has snoring or sleep apnea. And the reason that is because somebody who's in my harder programs, I want to be in therapy with them longer. So I want to get out into that window after 3 months. And that 3 month for me is because a lot of research that I have read shows that myofunctional therapy is effective after a period of 3 months. So slow and steady wins the race. You have to be doing this. And so it doesn't make any sense for me to hurry through therapy with somebody, especially those with advanced needs, because I want to be with them. So I might teach an exercise to somebody who's in my harder program, and I tell them I want to see them in 3 weeks instead of 2. So it just really depends, but that's why that it takes a little bit longer for those people. So that's the frequency. So remember, 2-3 times a day for a little bit. I'm talking a few minutes. Now, if you want to learn more about the active and passive exercises, I talked about that in my blog today. You can find that. And that's going to explain the difference in those two. So the active exercises really are the ones where you've got some mirror time, you've got your hand mirror here, and you're really watching yourself to see how you do that. A lot of my exercises can be easily implemented into your day. So some of my favorites can be done while you're driving, although I always laugh because, I could be driving and somebody comes up beside me and I, have to quickly pull my tongue in my mouth or something. But the car is a great place, especially on a couple of the exercises where I make you be really loud. So, people do them in their car, they do them on their commute, they do them in the bathroom, they do them on their lunch break. I've had clients that are in medical professions, so they wear a mask. And I'm talking in surgery, behind a mask, they do it. So in the OR, in the dental practice, that kind of stuff. So if there's a will, there's a way. So when I have clients who want to make excuses and they don't have the time, they just really don't want to yet, basically. And so those clients are not the ones for me. I think really that wraps it up. Now I do want to touch on practice expectations. So this is something that I do the first session with every single person, whether it's a child or an adult. And really the reason that I do practice expectations is because I had some adults, a period of time back that wanted to march to the beat of their own drum. And then they wanted to get frustrated when they weren't getting the results that they wanted. So here's what I talk about with my practice expectations, because if the person who is wanting to do business with me, if they can't do these expectations, then they're going to really struggle and they're not going to have great results. And I really pride myself on the fact of delivering what I am paid to do. And if you aren't doing what I'm teaching, then that's going to be really impossible. So my practice expectations are, if you do what I assign, you're going to have good results. If you do more than I assign, you're going to have better results. And if you do nothing, you're going to get nothing. Okay, that's not rocket science. So when I meet with a client, every single session, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, what grade do you give yourself? And I'm not asking for a grade as far as perfection on how they did everything. I'm asking for a grade on effort. And I do that for two reasons. A, it makes the client own their actions. And so if they have to tell me that they did a crappy job, then I want to hear them say that. And then I also put it in everybody's notes so that if they ever come back to me and say, hey, I'm frustrated, I'm not having really great results, I can tell them, of course, with my tough love, that when you bring your D game, you're definitely going to get D results. So that's the practice expectation with me. Another practice expectation is slow and steady wins the race. So you have to do it as I'm assigning it. That doesn't mean that you can ignore it all week and then do it for 5 hours on the weekend. That's not how you build a bicep. That's not how you're going to successfully complete myofunctional therapy. And especially if you're working with me, it's not going to be okay. So I'm very precise in what my expectations are and what my clients need to bring to the table. And that is because I want to deliver. But that basically wraps it up. Okay, so next week, I'm going to be answering some common email questions. I think this is going to be really helpful because I answer hundreds of emails every week, which takes a ton of time. But I also think it's going to be great because I'm going to be able to record it, and then I will be able to direct people from those emails right to that YouTube video where I answer those questions so that maybe I won't have so much confusion about certain things. So that is next week. Last, as you guys know, let me put it up here. I have a quick assessment tool. If you're wondering about if you have myofunctional therapy, I mean, some people like to just jump right in. Other people like to research it. So you can go to the bottom of any one of my blogs. You can get the free download. Take it. It's 25 questions. It's for adults. It's for kids. If any of this stuff puts a fire in your belly or you have a gut instinct and you know it's true, then find out a little bit more. It doesn't have to be me. It just needs to be somebody so that you can get on your path to better wellness. Because if you don't improve myofunctional impairment, eventually it smacks you upside the head. No other way to put it. And that what happens as we get older and our body gets tired of compensating, and the things that we've been sweeping under the rug or thinking that are normal, or maybe even the things that you don't even know about yet, but because I spend so much time educating, you quickly will, that's going to help you. So you can find that at the bottom of any one of my blogs. And then also I have a tongue tie and myofunctional therapy support group on Facebook. You can get a lot of great help there. I do a lot here on this Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. We are growing, and really my focus and my passion is to educate you guys. So if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me. You can find me on any of those platforms. With that said, I want you to have a fantastic afternoon, and I will see you next time, okay? Bye for now.